reveal, like from when you did the whole, I'm going to show you how to use it.
Dude, why were you not cast as Inej? You look amazing. Did you make this yourself?
You're my favorite. Yeah, I was like, well, let me see what I can do in a few days. But I mean, I absolutely love the character you play. You did such an amazing job. You have the best costumes. I don't want to sit here and like I'll gush for like the next 2 hours. So I want to totally get into it. I'm so happy I got to get you live. Hey everybody. I'm so excited to be live here right now with Amita Suman. She stars as Inej in Shadow and Bone, which is a new fantasy adventure series based on the Grishaverse novels by Lee Bardugo. So again, welcome, Amita. I'm channeling you right now. I was wondering, I was like, they didn't tell you, did they tell you I was going to dress as you for this interview?
They did. So I got this through and they said we have this amazing woman Alicia and she does cosplay, and I saw your Instagram and I was just like, oh my god, you are like literally a woman of magic. I don't know how you do what you do, but it's absolutely incredible. And look at that costume. The buckles, the scarf, wow, the hair.
I need
is
to make
perfect.
all of them. Thank you. It's like coming from you. I'm like, oh gosh, head spinning, mind blown, etc. Okay, so let me get right into it. So Amita, we've seen you in Doctor Who and in the CW series The Outpost. You are Inej, my favorite character in Shadow and Bone. You seem to gravitate toward really complex characters that have a lot of layers. What is it about Inej that made you excited about bringing her to life?
Everything, absolutely everything. I got the breakdown through for the audition, and there was this fan art of Inej with the hair that you have right now and the eyeliner. And I just saw this picture and I couldn't believe my luck that this was actually made for a brown person. And, you know, they hadn't had to change a casting, or, you know, I wasn't just ticking a diversity box. So in terms of the look wise, I was pretty excited. And then I read the character breakdown, and there were so many wonderful, beautiful, strong attributes to Inej. And then I realized, okay, it's from a book. So I went and got the book and opened the first page, and I thought I'd just read a couple of chapters here and there, but I finished the book in one sitting, and I instantly fell in love with the characters, with the world, with the relationships, and just more importantly, who Inej is. You know, she's such a woman of strength, of courage, of wanting to do good, yet still being so badass and dangerous and lethal. And, you know, she's a character that gets underestimated quite a bit, but everyone learns to never make that mistake again. Yeah, and you know, I was just so excited, and I hadn't even got the part yet, but I realized why everyone else was so crazy about her and about the story. And I said, you know, even if I didn't get the part, I am so excited to see this come onto, you know, the small screen. And then when I did get the part, it was one of the happiest days of my life. And then it just got better and better because we had such an incredible cast, such an incredible team. Eric Heiser, I love him to absolute bits. He did such an incredible job of bringing this onto the small screen. And I'm like such a huge fan of Lee Bardugo. So getting to meet her was for me like another massive bonus as well. Yeah, it's just been smiles throughout this whole journey.
She's like a genius. I'm like, I would
Isn't
love
she?
to like step inside of her brain for like one day. The way all of it works together and everything ties together. So you totally answered a question I was going to ask you. So before you were cast as Inej, you weren't that familiar with the Grishaverse, or you'd heard of it. They just sort of dumped it in your lap and they're like, boom, figure it out. Basically, like, just here's your world, make it happen, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, having read Six of Crows and Shadow and Bone and the rest of the books, I thought, how are they going to bring this into the small screen? Because everything about it was so epic. Sorry, green screen, as in like, oh, they must be using a lot of green screen, but I mean, obviously they did, but you know, for example, the Crow Club, it was built Catadam, it was built, you could walk through it, you could see the different you know, you had the orchid, and then you had the menagerie, and you had Pecker's Club, and you know, you could feel exactly what the characters were feeling when you walk through Catadam. And then the Crow Club, you know, the customized poker chips, the cards, the colors, the labels from wherever the alcohol was from, whether it was from Ravka or the Shuhan, or you know, it was just absolutely incredible. And then they built the actual skiffs as well. Like there was, you know, we barely had to imagine anything. And then with the knives, 14 beautiful knives, all decorated and made from, again, masters. And oh, it was, I could talk about Shadow and Bone all day, every day as well.
So I know that like when you're shooting it, it's one way. Like you said, you have the green screens, you have the sets, you have everything. But then when you see the finished product and you see everything put together, was it like?
Yeah, I'm one of those people that really cannot watch myself back. So I, you know, after I did a take, I just left it to the professionals. You know, but I got an email through a while back saying, okay, you can watch all of the episodes now. It's you can watch it. And I had heart palpitations for like a good 5 days. Because I was so nervous, because you know, all of us care about these characters and care about the show so much. You know, even if we had people who were on set for 3-4 days, they, you know, they would have read the books and they were all so excited and they were fans themselves. But seeing it come to life, it completely exceeded my expectations. I already had high expectations anyway, but the fold, the costume, my gosh, the colors, it was magical. I will never forget my first experience of seeing these books come to life with these characters as well. It was really special, and to be part of it as well, it's a dream come true.
There are moments when I was like, I'm actually scared right now. What's going on? It was really, yeah, they did a really good job with this. Okay, so I love asking this question, so forgive me if it feels nosy. I know that the audition process is super anxiety inducing, because you have like the main audition, whatever, cold reads, then you have screen tests and all that other stuff. What was it like when you got the call that you got it? Like, did you scream? Did you like flip out and cry?
All of those things, literally all of those things. When I started auditioning for this, you know, I was fully expecting to have rounds after rounds after rounds, because I knew the show was going to be pretty big, because of the people that they were bringing into it. But luckily for me, it was just, you know, a self-tape, go into the room, and I got the part. I was actually moving house in between the day, and I was in my van with like all of my stuff at the back of the van with the driver. Obviously, I terrible with names, I forgot his name. And I got a call from my agent, and my heart started beating. And I have this really weird thing where, I don't mean this in an arrogant way at all, because I've had my fair share of rejections, but I always know when something is about to happen. I get this feeling. So I saw my agent calling, and I knew, okay, something is going to happen. And he said, "You've got the part." And I I didn't believe it. I said, "No, I didn't." And he goes, "Yes, you did." And I'm like, "No, I didn't." "Yes, you did." And then I literally screamed my head off for 5 minutes. And the poor driver was like, "What the hell is going on?"
What's going on?
Yeah, my heart had never beaten so fast. It was the happiest day of my life. It was such an out of body experience. I wish I'd recorded it, but the feeling is so strong and fresh. I won't ever forget it.
I can't imagine. Because I mean, I was telling a few people before I even got this interview and the opportunity to speak with you, a bunch of my friends were saying, "Did you see the trailer for that new show that's coming on Netflix next week?" And I was like, "What?" When I saw the trailer, I was like, "Ah," and then I was like, "Ah, I get to talk to her." So thank you so much for this.
So sweet. Honestly, thank you for having me. It was so wonderful to meet you.
Okay, there's something I geek out over. Costume.
Yes,
And
clearly.
next to me, she had the best looks in the whole show. So, which one was your favorite and why?
Oh, it was definitely the hero costume. I've never put on anything like it. And honestly, when you put that costume on, first of all, it's so comfortable, but more importantly, it is the way it makes you feel. I genuinely felt like an assassin who was dangerous, who had her armor on and her weapons there. And, you know, her knives aren't just her knives, they really are her emotional anchor to her faith as well. So every time, you know, she uses it, it's not just in, I mean, obviously it can be in self-defense or to create damage, but it's this beautiful story that she kind of goes through within her head, because, you know, she names her knives after her saints. And yeah, the colors, and, you know, even the buttons, Wendy, she'd customize it to Ravka. They were hand custom painted thingies, and the waistcoat, the way it fit as well, and the silk in her shirt, again with the custom prints around the hand bit area. I'm sorry, sometimes my English just completely
the bracers
goes.
or whatever they are.
Yeah, exactly. And then also with the scarf, you know, we said, do we want to have a hood? But then we said, you know, we want to have a scarf because you can do so much more with a scarf. And, you know, there still has to be that tiny bit of progression, because the Inez you meet in Shadow and Bone, you know, it's, again, she's not quite the character you meet in Six of Crows. And for me, it was important to find like the story arc, and I think costume played a massive part in that. Yeah, and with every knife had its own place as well. Like the costume was made for the knives as well as her. She did such an incredible job. And yeah, you know, everything has a meaning to it, and the different little details as well. Like, you know, at one point her waistcoat rips, and instead of having it fixed like in a factory, you know, she hand fixes it. And it's all those little details and the cuts and the dirtiness that kind of shows what the character's going through.
I love the fact that, like, when you meet Inej, she seems one way, and then as it goes on, all this stuff starts coming up, and you're like, whoa, it's an onion, layer after layer. So, okay, as someone who also loves fitness and combat training, Inej has some sick stunts in this show. Did you have to train for that? Did you have to learn any fight choreography, like dagger throwing, anything like that?
I did. Yeah, I was so unfit. I was so unfit before I started filming. And I said to myself, I can't respect this character if I don't put in all the training and get my fitness up and build muscle. So yeah, I went to the gym. For first time ever, I put on some muscle. And in terms of all the acrobatic, I had amazing stunt team. One of my favorite times was actually fight training as well. I love combat training. And then with the silk stuff, with the aerial silks, it looks really easy, and you know, it's so graceful, but my gosh, it's so painful, and you need so much core strength. And I remember my first lesson, I couldn't even hold myself up. And then luckily by the time we came to film, I could do a basic routine. But my stunt double, who did all of the aerial silks, she is absolutely incredible. And all the really cool bits you see, they're all her. Hopefully in time it can be a tiny bit of I can start doing a tiny bit of the cool things as well.
Okay, so getting a little bit more personal with the last question. What is something that you, Amita, geek out over completely? It doesn't have to be related to the series, just something unexpected that you're really into.
You know what, I'm so fascinated by life that for me it changes all the time. So when I was in Nepal, you know, we didn't have any education, we had no computers, we had no phones, I couldn't read or write, so all I knew was what I could see with my eyes and what I could touch with my hands and the things that I could taste, and that's all the knowledge I had of life. So when I came to England and I discovered that, okay, the world was round, and there was the universe and so many different planets and possibility of aliens and all the elements, how they create all these many things. And then my favorite was that was actually Google. To me, Google is my it's my place to go whenever I need to learn something or research, and I'm on it, and I'm always searching up, okay, what does this mean, or like what's going on over there, or how did someone come to this place, or always asking myself questions and researching into things that I feel as I need to learn about, or if something's going on in the world right now, and I want to know what someone's going through, or all of those things. That's the things that I kind of geek over about. Yeah, it's really weird. I don't have one specific answer for that. It's just everything and anything.
That's it. Me, I tell people ask, like, where did you learn to do that? I'm like, YouTube University, man.
Yeah. Literally, right? Anything you need to learn how to do, I'm like, okay, YouTube. How do I do this? Or like, how do I fix my computer? Or, my washing machine's broke. What do I need to get?
Exactly. I'm like, yeah, full-time seamstress right here. Learned on YouTube.
Amazing.
I love finding out what you're doing when you're not fighting Volcra. Thank you, Amita. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you so much. It was so lovely to meet you. Have a great day.
This series is insane. You were absolutely incredible, and I'm so excited for fans of the Greechiverse to catch this. Make sure that those of you who love the series and can't wait to find us on Netflix right now.